So we invited Andy Crouppen of Brown & Crouppen to come into the studio and talk to us a little bit about staying safe at home when water's involved. Nice to see you.
Likewise. How are you?
I'm doing great. I don't think I ever paid as much attention to water temperature as I did after we brought our first newborn home, because then all of a sudden it's not about you anymore. You can kind of shake it off. But when there's a baby involved, suddenly everything becomes that much more important.
It's true. I'd have you thinking the way I come on here that I'm living in like a padded home with only taking sponge baths. But
yes.
No, water safety, a lot of people don't realize how serious this can be. We have a few things to cover, but this is the one I want to take the most time with. If you have 140-degree water, 3 seconds is all it takes for a young child to get third-degree burns, which require hospitalization and skin grafts. If those third-degree burns are over a significant percentage of an infant's body, that's enough to kill a child. So 3 seconds is all it takes. So this is something you want to make sure, if you have young kids in the home, you want to make sure you do it properly.
How do we do it?
Good question. There are a few things you can do. A lot of people tell you need to keep your water heater, or the old school thought is you had to keep it at 140 degrees to prevent Legionnaire's disease. I think that while there's some truth to that, your risk of getting burnt seriously is much higher than your risk of contracting Legionnaire's disease. So what most people now say is you want to keep the hot water heater temperature at about 125 degrees. And if you have kids in the house, what you want to do, and most building codes on new construction require this, you want to install an anti-scald guard on your bathtubs and showers and sinks, because it doesn't take long, and this can prevent that excess heat from really causing a serious injury.
Some water heaters, we'll call them, have an actual thermostat with numbers on it. Some don't. Some's like A, B, C. So just play around with it, and I think you'll get a pretty good sense for.
Well, you can also take a meat thermometer, put it in a glass.
We've done that.
We've done it. Really, I mean, it's nothing to laugh about. I mean, I think
true.
It seems silly to take a meat thermometer in a glass, but it's serious. This is something that a lot of people don't take as serious as they need to. You want to make sure that water temperature is not above 120 degrees, because at 120 degrees, you can put your hand under there, and while it's going to hurt, you're not going to get anything worse than about a sunburn if you leave it there for about 10 minutes.
Right.
So that 20-degree swing really does make a difference.
Temperature is one thing, but just bathing in general, especially for the very, very young and the elderly too, poses its own risks regardless of the water temperature.
It does. Do not leave a child unattended in the bathtub for any amount of time, because these things happen in the blink of an eye, and while maybe you left them for 2 minutes, 5 minutes before and nothing happened, just every time you do it, you're really putting your child's life at risk. And those little seats that they use to prop children up in, I think that gives people a false sense of security, because those things can tip over. Nothing's perfect. Take the 10 minutes, enjoy the time with your child in the bathtub, sit and play with them, just make sure they're safe. And with the elderly, make sure you have handrails and those little anti-slip. That's something everyone should probably have in the shower, some sort of anti-slip, because you can really get hurt. Even somebody who's healthy and has good balance, it gets slick in there. You can fall and really hurt yourself.
It certainly does. Springtime's here. That means pool season. Please make sure that gates, fencing around the pool, it's not just about your kids, but it's about neighborhood kids and other folks that might try to pay a visit to the pool. Make sure all of that's secure.
It does. And you know what? Another thing, educate yourself on what drowning actually looks like, because I think a lot of people have this idea that it's flailing arms and panicky, but most of the time when people watch people drown, they had no idea that they were in trouble, because the body goes into sort of a state of shock and doesn't know what to do, and it's actually a very calm-looking event.
Scary stuff.
Yeah,
Andy,
it is.
thank you very much. We got to talk about it, so we appreciate you stopping by. If you have a legal question for the folks over